like atmosphere? Have you guys prepped for it so well in years past and now that you feel as though you're prepared every time?
It's always different once you get to the game because the scouts can't really give you as good as a look as they do, even with just the small things like their cut blocks. The scouts, they don't practice that every day. That's something that Georgia Tech does every day. So with us going against the scouts, going against their cut blocks and then getting in the game and actually going against Georgia Tech's cut blocks is actually a little different. And even just with the small things like just reading their mannerisms, it's all different. So once we get to the game, I feel like maybe the first few plays we'll have to actually get adjusted to how it really looks. But then, that's where film study comes in real big too. Just watching the film, looking at the plays in practice and then comparing it to what they really do. So I feel like that'll help us a lot.
You had a great game at Auburn, but maybe your only big mistake was that one play that you were trying to help out and run support and got burnt deep. How much of a learning experience was that for you, especially going into a team like Georgia Tech?
That was a big learning experience for me, and I'm happy that it happened then because that's something that I could learn from at the time in the situation. As soon as it happened, Coach Sweeney, he came right off the sideline telling me what I needed to do, and I'm just glad it happened earlier than later in the season. So now that I got that out of the way, I'm a guy who likes to learn from my mistakes. And once I make a mistake, I try my hardest. I give 110% not to make the same mistake again. So I'm glad it happened earlier. I'm not glad, that it happened because nobody wants to get burned deep. But now that it's happened, I can move on from there.
We know that playing, for instance, a defensive lineman or linebacker was different about playing Georgia Tech. But what's different for a safety playing Georgia Tech? What are specific challenges come to that?
It's different because we have more of a run responsibility. Just because they run the ball so much, we're not really just cover guys out there anymore. We actually have to fit in the box like a linebacker, set the edge like a linebacker. So it's really just adding a whole nother element to your game that you don't really have to take in there.
Can you talk about a little bit what it was like having Coach Venom